60 slots for the House of Representatives. There is nothing wrong. Out of that 350, if the 60 slot is mainly for the youth, without being contested, I think if there is that particular that system blueprint in place, they will be encouraged, because that will be where all of them will be headed to. And that would be like, oh, I want to be part of this, I want to be one of this. If that system is being put in place, they will be encouraged to put their house in order.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, for being with us on the news tonight.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
All right, you're still watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. We'll take a short break now. The news will be back in a moment.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Glad to have you back with us. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, says all mechanisms have been put in place to ensure direct allocation of COVID-19 palliatives and fertilizer to farmers affected by floods across the country. The minister stated this while inspecting warehouses in Gusau, Zamfara State, where the products are kept for onward distribution to beneficiaries. Ilyasu Ali Yakub reports. We apologize for the loss of audio in that report. I'm sure you'll get that in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on now, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has distributed food items and farm inputs to internally displaced persons in Bali local government area of Taraba State. The intervention by the federal government is geared towards ameliorating the plight of victims of crisis in the state. Joseph Zana Gambo has the report.
Available statistics shows that Taraba State currently accommodates over 26,000 internally displaced persons affected by crisis, both within and outside the state. The challenges faced by this group of persons spread across various communities in the central part of the state, particularly in Bali local government area, could be said to have prompted this intervention by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, we have a mandate to care, maintain and provide durable solutions for those that are internally displaced. Currently, we are going through to about 11 states distributing items like this to ameliorate the suffering of our people and to empower them to be able to produce things on their own.
Beneficiaries of the federal government gesture could not hide their joy as they commended President Muhammadu Buhari for establishing the commission, which according to them has impacted positively the lives of vulnerable persons in Nigeria.
I am overexcited with what I've seen now. First and foremost, I will start by greeting the federal government and the Taraba State particularly for remembering us.
We pray that they will continue doing it so that we will benefit from them.
Items distributed include food, farm input, among several others. In Jalingo, Joseph Zanagambo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has reviewed results of preliminary investigations into the death of Flying Officer Tolulokwe Arotile. The Office of the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, says her death occurred around 4:30 p.m. when former schoolmates Messias Adejo, Folorunshaw and Bayego all Kogi State indigents in a Kia Sorento SUV with registration number AZ478MKA drove into her while reversing, knocking her down and driving over parts of her, causing significant bodily harm and head injuries. The deceased was back in the vehicle and was unaware of its approach. She was pronounced dead on arrival at the NAF hospital. The suspects were subjected to toxicology tests and were negative. The driver, Adejo, was found to be without a valid driver license, and the case is to be transferred to the police. NAF concludes there was no foul play in the unfortunate incident. Meanwhile, late flying officer Tolulope will be buried on 23rd of July 2020 with full military honors. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole in the northeast have eliminated 6 top Boko Haram ISWAP commanders. A statement by the Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, states that the terrorists were neutralized at Kolofata, at a border town with Cameroon, while attempting to cross over the Zambisa axis. Similarly, Major General Enenche notes that troops of Operation Sahel Sanity, with support from the Air Task Force, have captured one of the strongholds of the bandits situated in a forest in Jibia local government area of Katsina State. During the encounter, 17 bandits met their Waterloo, 5 arrested along Faskari Scheme Dadume Road, including one who could not validate his claim of being a policeman. In another development, troops have aborted an attempt to kidnap a 10-year-old girl in Begeda Tuduki Forest. China has raised the flood alert level on a river in the east of the country after days of heavy rainfall. Officials have moved the alert warning on the Huai River from level 3 to level 2, the second highest tier amid fears of further torrential downpours. Heavy rains have swept across China for weeks from the southwest to the east coast. At least 14 people have reportedly died in the south of the country due to the flooding, while millions have been evacuated. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with former Minister of Police Affairs, General David Jemi Bewo, on the 80th birthday. A statement by his media advisor says the celebrant played many pivotal roles in sharpening the nation's history, both in the private and public sectors. The president prays that the Almighty God will continue to bless the former governor of the defunct Western State and former Minister of Police Affairs with good health and strength to keep serving the nation. And now talking sport, Southampton won 2-0 at the Brockmort today in the English Premier League, away from football to Ultimate Fighting Championship, where Nigeria's flag could be flying high again, as Amanzi Marcos reports.
Another history will be made on September 19 when Nigerian-born, New Zealand-based UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya takes on Brazil's Paulo Costa in a 185-pound title fight. It will be the second time in UFC history that a pair of undefeated male fighters will meet for an undisputed title, following that of Rashad Evans and Lyoto Machida in 2008. Adesanya, with a record of 19 wins and no loss, will be defending his belt against Paulo Costa of Brazil, who has 13 victories with no loss. The fight is expected to take place either in Las Vegas or Abu Dhabi and was shifted forward because of COVID-19. In football, Los Angeles Galaxy in the American Major League Soccer will have to play without the services of their star striker Chicharito, who is out for a month with a strained calf. Javier Hernandez, who was injured on Thursday, missed Saturday night's game against rivals Los Angeles FC. The 32-year-old Mexican failed to score in all 3 games for the winless club before the stoppage of play in March due to the coronavirus pandemic. Meanwhile, President of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, may stand unopposed for a second term in office when his first term ends in 2021. In his speech at the virtual IOC session, the German said, "If you, the IOC members, want, I am ready to run for a second term as IOC president and to continue to serve you and this Olympic movement, which we all love so much." Athens, Greece is to host the 137th IOC session in 2021 when the presidential election is expected to hold, but the executive board will look into the matter once more in view of the coronavirus crisis. With sports update, Manzi Marcus, NTA News.
And that's the news. Remember to connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. Good evening.
Misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here in NTA, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Najaa Tutijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news, don't be a victim. Stay tuned to the NTA.
Especially at this time of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Nnamdi Ojipo.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Welcome to Nimasa This Week, with me, your captain, Cordelia Okbe. This is your guide to the maritime sector here in Nigeria. And talking about the maritime sector, the various heads of the various agencies in the maritime sector had a meeting recently. It was a high-flying meeting. We'll get to share with you some of the things they talked about during that session. There was a working visit by the Committee on Maritime Security Transit Corridor to the Nimasa headquarters. What they talked about, we'll share with you too. Recently, we've had accidents on board vessels here in Nigeria and other parts of the world too. It's a sad thing to happen, but yes, accidents do happen. There is a process to investigation of accidents in the maritime sector. How it happens, we'll be sharing the process with you. All on Nimasa This Week. Again, I'll say welcome, and please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Do you know who a seafarer is? Seafarers are the people who make the world go round. Seafarers are people who have been employed to work on ships. They ensure smooth sailing of the ship while making sure that goods and services get to us from every part of the world. And despite the COVID-19 pandemic, this set of people are still working for the benefit of everyone. Wow! Let us celebrate these special people, as they are the people who truly make the world go round. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA.
Now let's start off from this very, very important note where chief executives of the various maritime agencies in the Nigerian maritime sector had a meeting. And this inaugural meeting was a big one because they are coming together is to look at how they can collaborate to enhance productivity in that sector. In attendance were the chief executives of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, the Nigeria Ports Authority, NTA, the Nigerian Shippers Council, NSC, Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, MAN, and also Nigeria Inland Waterways.
Some weeks ago, the Nigerian maritime industry witnessed concerted efforts towards collaboration by government agencies when the managing director of the NPA paid a working visit to the headquarters of NIMASA. Barely 3 weeks after, the collaboration has now grown into an industry-wide approach as chief executives of 5 agencies of government had an inaugural meeting. While NIMASA Director General Dr. Bashir Jamo, the Managing Director of the NPA Ms. Hadiza Bala Usman, joined the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Barrister Hassan Bello, in his office in Apapa, the Rector Man Oron, Commodore Emmanuel Dujai Fedwa, and the MD NIWA, Dr. George Mugalu, joined via Zoom. At the end of the meeting, which lasted about an hour, first to speak to the press was the Managing Director of the NPA.
The purpose of this meeting is to improve synergy between the agencies of government in the maritime industry. We've